What is up, everybody? We got another episode of the Wild Nutrition Podcast here, and it's another Coffee Talk Friday. So let's get into the topic. We got 15 minutes on the clock. We'll see if I go over like usual. Anyways, today we're going to talk about something Aaron, Sarah, and I have talked on the podcast about, and then in behind the scenes, obviously, when we're talking as coaches and trying to help clients and trying to help potential clients as well, make the decision to move forward. And this is something that you might have experienced yourself, and this affects many areas of life. So we're going to keep it related to fitness and nutrition, but it can affect a lot of different areas. So this is going to relate, even if you're like, well, I'm doing really well. Well, with your fitness and nutrition, let's look at other areas of your life as well and make sure it's not happening there. So what it is the having a thought that you need a prerequisite to do things, to take on something else, to do a fitness class, to start tracking your macros. There's some prerequisites that you must do. And the thing you hear is, I wish I could do that, but I can't right now. While there can be some merit, you should definitely check yourself. Before I get into it, just a reminder, please, I need to do this at the beginning as well as the end. Please rate the show, leave a 5-star review. Also check out the free stuff. We have the Master Your Macros guide and different things down in the show notes. So make sure you check that out. Give me a follow on other social media channels. Anyways, subscribe, do all that stuff. Back to it. So having the prereq. So Sarah talked about this, and if you haven't followed the Stop Talking About Fat Loss podcast, I would recommend you go do that. It's if you listen on Spotify, it's in the recommended section. If you go up, I'm not sure if I have it linked down, but just a quick search and you will find the Stop Talking About Fat Loss podcast, and I'm on it. So you can also just look up my name. Anyways, she was saying how she would get people like, I wish I could do your cycle bar classes. Like, I'm not at that fitness level. Like, there's a prereq to being a certain fitness level to do it. Now, should you be completely out of shape and do it for the first time ever? Probably not. But if you have at least some conditioning, you can go and do that. Especially if you have a coach who, isn't going to, like Sarah, who's not going to destroy a newbie. Like, okay, like, go at your own pace. They're not trying to crush you. Like, that's different if there's like the drill instructor style coaches that they're going to try to crush you. That's a different story. It's not Sarah. So you don't need prereqs. You just need to take action sometimes and do things. Same thing with going to the gym or starting with, like, when I lose weight, I'll hear that a lot. When I lose weight, I'll start working out. Huh? When I lose weight, I will start doing this thing. So we need to start with losing weight. Well, guess what? If working out will help with your weight loss, but we set up this fallacy. Like, when I lose weight, I will do this. No, and in your brain, you're not going to lose the weight. So you set yourself up for failure unintentionally. Even though you know you want to lose weight, unintentionally you set yourself up for failure with this fallacy of this needing this prereq first. I'm not sure what the actual fallacy is called, but it is a vicious cycle. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy is one. It's okay, I will start weight training when I lose weight. I'm just going to do cardio and do this other stuff. And then you're not getting to your goal. So you never start with the weight training, which would ultimately get you the body composition you're probably chasing. That's a problem. That's a big problem if we're trying to chase body composition goals. If we're just trying to do things for health, when I am quote unquote in better shape, I will do this thing. Like, why don't you just do it? Or I've talked to clients where they have this goal, this idea of doing something. It might be as simple as doing a 5K. And they're like, when I can run an 8-minute mile, I will do that. It's like, ma'am, sir, you haven't run in 15 years. You want to go right to an 8-minute mile and then you're going to do this goal? Instead, why don't we just do the thing, see if you even like it, and you can get better at it. Nobody's like amateur competition, nobody's judging. People walk those. Why don't you just do it? We used to do so there was not Tough Mudder. There was some sort of charity one, and the symbol's ducks. I forget what it's called, but we used to do it. It was one of those obstacle course things. You get muddy, but it was super chill. And some people will run it. We would be a big group from the gym, and we would just walk the whole thing. We would go do the challenge, do the obstacle, or walk the course, do the obstacle. If the obstacle was people weren't comfortable, they would just go off to the side, wait for everyone to finish. Like, it was a very low pressure thing, but so many people were super nervous about doing it. And a lot of people didn't do it because they thought it was going to be like the Spartan races or the Tough Mudder. It's like, no, it's super casual. A whole bunch of us just walk it. Some people run it. Awesome. A bunch of us just walk it. And we might do a light jog if it's like a big distance to the next thing. But other than that, like, if someone in the group literally can't run, a bunch of us will just walk. And I would just walk with people like, hey, like, we're just going to walk. It's not a big deal. You're not holding me back. This was the thing we planned on doing today. So we would get to the next obstacle, and there's always a wait too. So walking like didn't really save you that much time. So we would get to the obstacle course. If you weren't comfortable with doing it, people wouldn't do it. And if you were comfortable, like, you would do it, try it, and see like, oh, I'm surprised. Like, I didn't really think I could do that, and I did it. And so people who did it came out with a lot more confidence in themselves than the people who didn't, who were too nervous, despite saying, hey, these are the things. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money, but it all goes to charity. I'm blanking on the name. Tough Mucker or something. It's not Tough Mucker. I am blanking. Muck Run with Duck. What is that called? No. Muckfest. Is that? Yes, Muckfest MS. Because the money goes to the MS Society or whatever. And we had a couple clients who had MS. So yeah, it was like, okay, this is perfect because it's going to organizations that actually, like, these clients say are really good for people suffering with the National MS Society. Yeah. So Muckfest. So if you're interested, super chill, not super easy, but super fun way to test obstacle courses, like the mud run, without all the pressure and everything that's Spartan and Tough Mudder and these other ones. And it can be a good stepping stone if you want to go into that level. But a lot of people had like really bad experiences. I know like there's a Tough Mudder Spartan thing that people were like, oh, you gotta do it. But it was like, there's this section where there's straw bales you had to climb over, and there's all this electric wire hanging down, so you get shocked. And like, that, why would I spend my money to go and do that after you just get out of icy water? People are like, oh, it was like 50 degrees, so you go down into icy water and then you're getting shocked. I'm like, that sounds awful. Like, I don't need to prove myself to that. Some people do. I don't need to prove myself to do that. If I had to do it, I know I could, but I don't need to spend the money to go do it. This was different. But the point being is, a lot of people held themselves back. I will do that when I can run 3 miles. Well, you're going to have to do that on your own time, because at the gym, we didn't do running. Like, we did intervals, we did HIIT training, we did group classes, we did small group personal training. We didn't do running. There were no treadmills in the gym. It was all free weights. The only cardio machines we ended up getting, we had a few of the Aerodyne bikes, and we had the ski ergs. So you had to do it on your own time. And some people did, but most of the people saying this thing did not do that. So don't hold yourself back. Don't have these prereqs of like, oh, no, just go and fucking do it. Start someplace, because there's always going to be something. And I fall into this with where I don't feel knowledgeable enough a lot of times. This is my thing with being an Enneagram 5. Like, I don't feel smart enough a lot of the times, even though people be like, dude, like, you got it. I deal with it just as much as you guys. Everyone deals with this in some capacity, which is why I'm saying it's not just fitness and nutrition, but you do need to realize that about yourself and just do it. And so I remember being in a few leadership meetings, like, what's a book you can tell me? What's a podcast? What's this? What education can we? And it's like, remember my manager at the time being like, there's no fucking book. There's no podcast. You guys have read them already. Just fucking do the thing. It's like, oh yeah, I guess we do best through learning. Like, just take messy action. That's really the end all. Like, just go do the thing. Now, if it's like a pull-up challenge and you haven't been to the gym ever, you can't do a pull-up, maybe don't do that. Yeah, there's a prereq of like, maybe you need to do a pull-up. But for a cycle bar class, which is geared towards all fitness levels, different story. So don't go signing up for something that's advanced at fitness level or even intermediate if you're a beginner. But if you're somewhere in that beginner to intermediate stage and there's things for beginners and intermediates, like, go do that. Just do it. Try it. At the amateur level, which, guess what? Most of us, I'm not a pro athlete, so we are, nobody's watching. Just you. It's just you and your pride. And usually our pride gets in the way of us doing the things we want to do. So go do the thing. Take action towards it. Try it out. Best case scenario, you love it. You surprise yourself. You come out confident. Worst case scenario, you realize maybe you don't like it. Maybe it wasn't all it was meant to be. So now you can move on to the next thing of like, hey, there's these couple things I want to try. Hey, you can always revisit in the future. Don't put things up on the pedestal. It'd be like, one day I will reach that. But then you always come up with like, well, I'm not there yet. Well, I'm not there yet. People like me don't do that. No. People like you, if you're saying that, don't ever do that because you never actually reach it. The people reaching it just go and do it. So sometimes you need to just take action and go do that thing. Anyways, that's today's topic. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Just take action towards whatever it is. Small action. Doesn't need to be big. Just go do things. You don't need all these prereqs. You don't need to be in amazing shape to try a fitness class. You just need to get started someplace. And one of the things that I would say at being a personal trainer for so long is if you're going in and you're nervous, like, tell the person about it. Like, tell the coach, like, I'm very nervous. I'm new. Okay, I got you. And also, if you have a bad experience with an instructor, don't put all instructors in that category because everyone's different. Some people are going to be geared. People who want that high energy, that in your face yelling. I'm not the coach. I am not that personal trainer. And I had some people who wanted that. I'm like, go to this other trainer. Like, don't sign up for my classes. I'm not going to be like that. You want to have a fun time. You want me to come up to you and be like, you can do better. Like, I know you can lift more. Go grab a heavier weight next time. That's me. You want the quiet, just go pick that up. Do heavier. I know you can. That was me. If you want that, find someone like myself. If you want that in your face, high energy, yelling drill instructor, find someone like that. So there's a wide gamut of different coaching styles, different things like that. So don't be like, oh, I had this terrible experience with this one instructor. So thus all instructors, unless the business dictates that they're all like that, or all the instructors at that business are like that, that's a different story. But then you just go find someplace else. Like if it's cycle bar, and I bring this up because Sarah is with it, but it's also very popular in my area because it's generally very high energy. But there's going to be different kinds of coaches. Some are going to be high energy and really trying to push people. Those classes are super intense. And if your friend's like, oh yeah, I love it, you're going to die by the end. Like, maybe don't do that one. I don't like this instructor. She's not as high energy. The class is too easy. That's the one you want to go do. Like, if your friend wants you, like, okay, I will do it with that instructor for my first class. For my second class, if I enjoy it, I will do your instructor. And that's kind of how you do it. Anyways, that's time's up. When I had new clients, communicate with the coach. Obviously, we can be very busy sometimes, but communicating ahead of time of like, hey, like, injuries, what are you worried about? What level of fitness? How hard do you want to be pushed? You're just trying out and it's new. Cool. We're going to go with the lighter weights. We're going to do this. We're just going to get a feel for the class. You're going to see the flow of things. Then your second class, we can push it more. But today, unless you're feeling super good, you know what you're doing, we're just going to get a hang of the ropes. Make sure you feel good. You're not too sore tomorrow. And if you are really sore, then we know that we still did too much. And we might not even do all the rounds. Like if it was like 4 rounds or something, it might just be, you know what, just do what you can. Do like 3 and then call it, take a break. Everyone else is going to finish up and then we'll move on. Anyways, that was time. So if you enjoyed the episode, please let me know. Either write a review, message me, or I think on Spotify, there's a little thing to like put your feedback. So please do that. Please rate the episode, give it 5 stars if you feel like the show deserves it. That helps the algorithm push it out so more people find the podcast. We grow. I can reach out to and get more guests onto the podcast. Also, it just gets more reach. So there's going to be more things I can do in the future, potentially more episodes per week, better production, more videos type stuff. If you're just an audio listener, obviously video doesn't matter too much, but it's one of those nice things coming out now with podcasting is the video aspect. And then lastly, make sure to check out the freebies down below. We have the Master Your Macros, but also if you're interested in coaching in any capacity, we just released the launch program, which is going to be only $47. And that's going to come with a once a month accountability call, community for support for you can message your coaches in that, which would be Aaron and Melissa on the team for launch. And that applications down below. So it's the same application, whether you want to do that, whether you want to do Prime, which is the group coaching program I do, which has a weekly accountability call, or if you want to do the Elite program, which is our full-on one-on-one coaching, which many of you have done before as a listener. If you haven't, that's going to be the most accountability, most support. So we've just created a range of things, but the application is the same. So you just fill that out and then you figure out which one's the best, because we don't want to put you into a program that you're not going to succeed. Like where we don't want to just like take your money and have you fail. Like that's terrible. Like if you actually need Elite, like doing launch is not going to be good. You're not going to have a good experience. You're not going to get the results you want. It's going to be a waste of money. We don't want that. Or if you don't really need Elite, maybe you don't need that much accountability. You just need some, and you really just want someone to write really good workouts for you. Then we're talking more like Launch and Prime, which Prime is the group coaching I run. So there's different levels. If you're interested, if you have questions, you can reach out to me. I also have a form that goes over the differences. So I can send you that. Just shoot me a message. Obviously Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. TikTok kind of sucks for messaging, but Instagram and Facebook I'm on the most often. So you can those links to my profiles are also down below. If you don't follow me, make sure you give me a follow there. Anyways, appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one.